Hello and welcome to Trading 5 Talents. In this video, I want to go over my live trading results using my Option Alpha bot. And this will be week 4 using this bot. And last week, I introduced an automation that I was going to try for this week's trading, and it was regarding a shrinking trailing stop. So with this past week already in the books, I want to basically try to answer this question of, did it actually help or hurt my trading for this week? So let me take you through the 4 trades that closed this week. And the first one was an expiration date of 4/27. Now remember, all of these are iron butterflies or iron flies on SPY 7 DTE 10 strikes wide. And so with my original trail, which you can see down here in the bottom left is a 15% activation. Once the position is 15% profitable, then there's a 5% trailing stop, and then a hard stop loss of -30 if it never even gets to that 15%. So you can see I closed here in the yellow circle at $92, and so that's a 18% profit. And also in the red box, you can see that it went up to 27% 4 days before it closed, and it only went down to -1.4%. So how did the shrinking trail work as opposed to the original trailing stop? And you can see that over here in green on the right, $94 in profit, so slightly better. And then again, 27% was the high, -1.2 was the low. Now the numbers maybe just a little bit different because you can also see that my entries are different. On my shrinking trail, which is my live position, $513 credit. The original trail, which is in a paper position, $512 in credit. So I got a better fill with live, and it's something that I have been seeing quite frequently. I've got a number of paper bots going as well as a live bot going, and my lives always seem to have as good or better fills than my paper bots. All right, so that's the first trade. So far, so good. Second trade closed 4/28, and my original 15.5 trail, $52. My return was just under 10%. You can see it reached 16.8% high, and it only went down to -0.4%. So really, this one just went into profit all the way up to 16.8, and then it trailed back, and then I closed. All right, so how did the shrinking trail do? Well, you can see over here is a loss, actually, a -$6 loss. So that's -1%. And so what happened here is it went up to that 17% high, just like it did over with the original trail. But then as it retraced back, it actually retraced back 18%. And so this would be, I believe, the following day. That's why it went further than the 10% trail. And then it closed for a loss. So it closed at an 18% loss from open. So that would be the -1% return. So with the original trail, however, it went up to that 17%. It came back about 5%, and that's what would have closed that particular trade. So that's why I gained $52 in the original trail, but I lost money on the shrinking trail. Okay, so the next one is 5/1 expiration, and you can see a $98 gain, about an 18.5% profit for the original. It went all the way up to 24.7. And then as the profit fell back 6.2%, it closed for that gain. You can see it went down to -15.8% as well for this position. So how did the shrinking trail do? Well, if we look over here, it's only a $19 gain. It's still a win, but it's obviously a lot less, about 5 times less. And so what happened over here is it went up to 14.5%. As you can see in the red box on the bottom right, it went up to 14.5%, but then it came down and it fell back 10%. So that's why it closed for $19. And that was towards the end of the day on, I'm not sure exactly what day this one closed, but so that was towards the end of the day of whenever this closed. And you can see over in the original trail, at the actual end of the day, it was down -15.8%. And so I was thinking, okay, here's where the shrinking trail is going to, shine, because this one, the original trail is going to lose -30%, while this one gained, $19. Well, in fact, when the market opened up the next day, this was already in a lot of profit, and actually it went up to about, what you can see over here, 25% profit, and then it activated the trail, came back 5%, and then that's why I was able to exit for $98. So it looks like I just got stopped out too soon with my shrinking trail. And so I guess that's part of it, is that you don't want your winners to turn into losers. And this one definitely had the potential of turning into a loser. However, it didn't. So that's why I got a smaller gain on the shrinking trail. Exact same thing happened with the 5-2 trade. You can see $90 in profit, high 21.9%. Over here, $19. Exact same profit, actually. So about 3.5%. It went up, activated my trail, and then I was able to get out for $19. But you can see in this case, this is when I exited, and this was towards the end of the day. It never went up to 15%. Therefore, the original trail never activated. And so it held that position overnight. The next morning, it was very profitable, and that's why I was able to exit that following day. So overall, did it help? Well, here you can see the sum of all of these 4 trades for the week. In green is what was in my live account. In yellow is what is in my paper trading account. Exact same, pretty much the same entries, but I'm exiting differently, whether I had an original 15.5 trail or a shrinking trail. So did it help? No, not in this case. I think my trails are too tight, especially that first one where it goes 10, so it activates at 10% trail. I think that is too tight, so I'm going to need to adjust it, and I'll show you what I did here in just a little bit to adjust it for this next week. Okay, here we are in Option Alpha in my live bots, and this is the one that I'm working with, this Ironfly trailing stop. And if we go over to the positions, and then we go down here to the closed positions, these top 4 are the ones that I just went over, and you can see that, whatever the sum is, I think it was like $126 I made. I have 3 open positions. They're not doing too well right now. So it is the weekend. Hopefully we'll have a gap down and put these positions into some profit, but otherwise these would close for losers for next week. All right, so here's what I did with the adjustments to my shrinking trailing stop, and I'm going to try it out on this week, which means these right here are going to be the first recipients of this new automation. So go over to automation, go to my shrinking trail automation, and this is what I have. A lot of it looks the same. So basically this is where I'm going to make a difference down in these bottom ones right here. So if the position has increased by, or the position premium has decreased by 5%, that is, I'm in 5% profit, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to move my stop loss to negative 25%. Originally, it opens at negative 30%. If my profit goes up to 10%, I'm moving my stop loss up to negative 20%. If my position profits 15%, then I'm going to have a 10% trail off of that, okay? And then if it goes up to 20%, that's when I'm going to have my 5% trail, I'm sorry. So what I was doing before, though, is I was skipping this 15% one right here in my original shrinking trail. I was skipping this 15%, and I had a 10% with a 10% trail, and then I skipped up to 20% with a 5% trail. So I think I'm missing this one right here. Someone had suggested it in the comments that, there's still quite a jump between 10% and 20%, and I completely agree. So I added this 15 in here, and then it just shrinks as you go up. 34, 43, 52, 61, and then of course exit it if you reach 70% profit. So once again, I'm just shrinking my stop loss right now. So I won't take a full loss if I'm in a little bit of profit. I'm not really going for the break even like I was before, because I think that really hurt me last week. So I'm going to try this iteration and see if the shrinking trail works a little bit better. The other thing I wanted to mention is over in the community, if you just search for Trading 5 Talents and you see the daily Ironfly bot, the one with the blue, I guess that's a bat icon. If you scroll to the bottom of this post, there's been some discussion regarding this trailing stop or exiting earlier or mitigating some of your risk. And there are a few other traders on here that have some really good ideas. So if you want to take a look at their right here. So there's one from Jared, and then there's one over here from Remy. Some of their automations that are able to shrink the stop loss as time goes on. So the longer you're in the trade, your stop loss gets tighter and tighter. Not necessarily a trailing stop, but it just sort of takes some of that risk off the table the longer you're in a trade. Those automations are here. And I think it's Remy's right here. If you looked at this automation, it actually tries to combine that shrinking trail that I'm trying to implement, and also Jared's idea of how to mitigate your risk the longer you're in a trade. So that's a pretty cool automation as well. I haven't applied it yet to my live trading. I want to get these numbers right on my shrinking trail before I know what to input into one of these other automations. But if you want to check it out, I'd highly recommend it. They've done some really great work here. Okay, and the last thing I wanted to show you, because this is also the end of the month, just show you what I gained for the month using this option alpha trading bot. So here is my trade log, and then I've got these ones here in red, and they highlight darker and darker red as the expiration approaches. Each line is a new trade. I've got 3 trades that are open. And so if I go over to my dashboard, you can see here for the month of April, I've got a profit of $952.92. And this is after all of my fees, $10.08 in fees. So I did, very well. I actually gained and won a lot more money than I thought this strategy would, quite honestly. I didn't know exactly what to expect. I did not think that it would get up to 40% in total profit. So I'm really happy about that. Here's my win rate, 14 total trades, 12 wins, 2 losses for about 86% win rate. My average down here, ROIs, my average wins and average losses. So again, this is the trade log that I made. This is the premium version of the dashboard, and there's a link down in the description if you want to purchase a copy for yourself. It's made in Google Sheets, but there's also a free version without this dashboard. There's a link in the description as well if you want to try it out and record your trades. But overall, for the month of April, very happy with Option Alpha and its trading bots. So if you have any questions, then go ahead and leave a comment down below, and I'll try to get to it as quickly as possible. In the meantime, trade wisely and take care.